November 9th, 2014, from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. It was the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers won the toss and they elected to receive, so they would take over on their own 20, and they would end up marching the ball to midfield and into the Falcons' territory. But their drive ended up stalling on the Atlanta 33, and so Murray would come out to attempt a 51-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and so the score was now 3-0 as the Bucs put the first points on the scoreboard after a 17-play drive that lasted 8.5 minutes and resulted in 3 points. So now Atlanta would take over with about 6.5 minutes left in the first. They had the ball on their own 22. And they would put together an 11-play drive that lasted 5.5 minutes as they marched down the field and all the way down to the 1-yard line, where Steven Jackson would end up punching it in for a touchdown as the Falcons took the lead with the score 7-3. So now the Bucs got the ball. They had it on their own 17, and on the final play of the first quarter, Sims ran for a 3-yard run that brought the ball to the 20, and after the first quarter of play, the score was Atlanta 7, Tampa Bay 3. So to begin things in the second quarter, the Bucs had the ball on the 20. It was 2nd and 7. A false start brought them backwards, but then a pass from McCown to Jackson would be a 9-yard gain, but they would end up punting the ball on 4th and 3 from the 24. So now the Falcons took over with about 14 minutes left before halftime. They had the ball on their own 39. A holding penalty brought them back to the 29, but then a 7-yard pass made it 2nd and 13, and then a 2-yard loss made it 3rd and 15. But then an incomplete pass, but there was a penalty of illegal contact, and now it was a first down for the Falcons on the 39. So penalties hurt the Bucs. And now on 3rd and 4 from the 45, Matt Ryan hit Roddy White for an 8-yard pass. And then on 3rd and 12 from the 49, Matt Ryan hit Julio Jones for a 39-yard pass. And now it was a first down on the Tampa Bay 10 as they had gotten into the red zone. But a false start brought them back, and then Matt Ryan was sacked by McDonald for a 7-yard loss. That brought up 2nd and 22. Ryan then hit Jones for a 3-yard pass, and an incomplete pass would bring out the punting or the field goal unit, as it was now 4th and 19, 4th and goal from the 19. And so Bryant would come out. He kicked the 37-yarder. It was up, it was good, and the score was now 10-3 as the Falcons extended their lead to a touchdown. So now the Bucs would take over with about 7 minutes left before halftime, and after 6 plays, they would punt the ball from their own 42. The Falcons would go 3 and out, and the Bucs would take back over with about 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. They had the ball on their own 14. On first down, McCown scrambled for an 11-yard run, and then he ended up throwing a 13-yard pass to Seferian-Jenkins. So now it's first down on the 38. And on 2nd and 10, McCown hit Jackson for a 19-yard pass to bring the ball across midfield into the Atlanta 43. McCown then hit Evans for a 16-yard pass that made it a first down on the 27. Then on 3rd and 5 from the 22, McCown dropped back to pass, and he found Mike Evans for the 22-yard touchdown pass that tied this game up at 10 apiece. So now the Falcons took over with less than a minute left before halftime. They had it on their own 42. And an incomplete pass would bring up 2nd down. Matt Ryan would then find Rodgers for a 3-yard pass. So now they would call a timeout with just 25 seconds left on the clock before halftime. It was 3rd and 7 from the 45. And Matt Ryan dropped back to pass, and he found Julio Jones for a 22-yard reception that brought the ball across midfield into the Tampa Bay 33. Ryan then hit Rodgers for an 8-yard pass, and then he ran up to the line and he spiked the ball with just 1 second left, as it was now 2nd and 2 on the 25, and they brought out Matt Bryant to attempt a 43-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and the score was now 13-10, Atlanta over Tampa Bay, and the game went to halftime. So coming out of the locker rooms at halftime, the Falcons were up by 3 points with the score Atlanta 13, Tampa Bay 10. The Falcons had the ball first in the second half. They started off on their own 18-yard line. They were faced with a 3rd and 3 from the 25, and Matt Ryan hit Julio Jones for a 13-yard pass that made a first down on the 38. Then on 2nd and 3 from the 45, Smith ran for 4 yards to pick up another first down. Then Ryan hit Roddy White for an 18-yard pass for yet another first down. They were then faced with a 3rd and 8 on the 31 of Tampa Bay. Ryan hit Hester for a 5-yard pass, and they would be 3 yards shy of the first down, and Matt Bryant would come out to attempt a 44-yard field goal. It was up. It was good. And now the score was 16-10 as Matt Bryant hit his 3rd field goal of the game. And the Falcons were now up by 6 points. So now Tampa Bay would take over on their own 19 with about 10.5 minutes left in the 3rd. And so now they would march down the field and into Atlanta territory. It would be 2nd and 10 from the Atlanta 39. Sims would get the handoff, and he got blown up by Goodman. He fumbled the ball. Mapunga ended up recovering, and the Falcons now had the ball on their own 35 with about 5 minutes left in the 3rd. They would go 3 and out, and they punted it back to the Bucs. So the Bucs defense came up with a big stop there, and the offense took over on the Atlanta 34, and they were already in field goal range. They got into the red zone when on 3rd and 8 from the 32, McCown hit Evans for a 17-yard pass. And then on 3rd and 1 from the 6-yard line, James ran for 5 yards to pick up a first down on the final play of the 3rd quarter. So after 3 quarters of play, the score was Atlanta 16, Tampa Bay 10. So now the Bucs would begin the 4th quarter with 1st and goal on the 1. They didn't get in on the first play, but on 2nd and goal from the 1, McCown found Seferian-Jenkins for a 1-yard touchdown pass, and now the Bucs were in the lead by 1 point with the score Tampa Bay 17, Atlanta 16. So now the Falcons took over with about 14 minutes left in this game. They had the ball on their own 35, and on first down, Matt Ryan hit Julio Jones for a 20-yard pass that brought the ball across midfield into the Tampa Bay 45. Ryan then ran for 8 yards, and then Freeman ran for 6 yards. Now it was a first down on the 31. They would be faced with 3rd and 10 from the 31, and Ryan hit Julio Jones for an 11-yard pass to pick up yet another first down. So now it's first down on the 20. Jackson ran for 5 yards, and then Smith lost a yard, and now it was 3rd and 6 on the 16. Matt Ryan dropped back, and it ended up being an incomplete pass, but it was illegal contact against the defense, and now it was a first down on the Tampa Bay 11. So now Matt Ryan would hit Julio Jones for a 6-yard pass. That would bring up 2nd and 4 from the 5, and Matt Ryan dropped back to pass, and he hit Roddy White for a 5-yard touchdown pass. They ended up going for the 2-point conversion, and they succeeded with a pass from Ryan to Douglas, and it was now 24-17 as they were in the lead by a touchdown. So now the Bucs took over with about 9 minutes left in this game. They went 3 and out as the Falcons came up with a big defensive stand, and now the Falcons would take over on their own 49 with about 7 minutes left in the 4th. Steven Jackson then ripped a 27-yard run through the defense all the way down to the Tampa Bay 24. Jackson then ran for 3 yards, but then he lost 3 yards, and now it was 3rd and 10. The handoff went to Freeman. He gained 9, but on 4th and 1 from the 15, Atlanta elected to go for the field goal. Matt Bryant came out and he kicked his 4th field goal of the game, this one from 33 yards out, and the score was now 27-17 as the Falcons extended their lead to 10 points. And the Bucs would now take over with about 4 minutes left in the game, needing 2 scores. And they had it on their own 20. They ended up moving backwards on first down after they did gain 9 yards, but an unnecessary roughness penalty against the offense made it 2nd and 15. McCown was then sacked by Babineau, and it was 3rd and 20 from the 10. But then they ended up getting a first down because of a penalty as McCown actually hit Evans for a 34-yard pass. It was called an illegal forward pass. The Bucs challenged, and it was ruled to be a good pass. It was fine. So now it was a first down on the Tampa Bay 44 as they've gotten out of the shadow of their own end zone. McCown now hit Bobby Rainey, and Rainey took it 17 yards across midfield and into Atlanta territory. So now it was a first down on the Atlanta 39. McCown then hit Jackson for a 9-yard pass, so now it was 2nd and 1 on the 30, and McCown was sacked by Umanura and Bierman. So now it's 3rd and 1 from the 30, and then McCown ended up throwing a 3-yard pass to Seferian-Jenkins, and it was now first down on the 27. But then an incomplete pass and was challenged by Tampa Bay. They ended up ruling it in favor of the Bucs, and it was ruled a 23-yard reception by Evans. So now it was 1st and goal on the Atlanta 4-yard line. McCown dropped back to pass. He went to Jackson, and it actually was intercepted by Lowry. The play was reviewed, and it was ruled a touchback, as it was ruled good as he got his feet inbounds. And so now the Falcons would take over with less than 2 minutes left in the game, up by 2 scores. They had the ball on their own 20. They went 3 and out as the Bucs came up with a huge clutch stop on defense. But with time running out, it would not really be much because the Bucs had the ball now on their own 31. McCown did hit Murphy for a 12-yard pass. He then spiked the ball. Sims then caught a 13-yard pass. Then McCown spiked the ball, but McCown was sacked by Bierman. And so now it's 3rd and 17, and an incomplete pass brought up 4th and 17. McCown dropped back to pass, and he was intercepted by Ishmael. And that would do it. Is now all the Falcons had to do was take a knee, and this game came to a close with the final score: Atlanta 27, Tampa Bay 17. And with the victory, the Falcons are now 3 and 6, and the Bucs are 1 and 8, as they are still winless in Tampa Bay with a home record of 0 and 5. And this is the Falcons' first road victory on the season, as they are 1 and 4 away from Atlanta. But in this game, Matt Ryan was 20 for 31 with 219 passing yards and a touchdown. McCown was 27 for 43 with 301 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And McCown was actually the leading rusher for the Bucs with 39 yards off of 5 carries. Steven Jackson had 81 yards off of 16 carries and a touchdown to be the game's leading rusher. And he also had 14 yards receiving off of 2 receptions. The leading receiver in this game was Mike Evans with 7 receptions for 125 yards and a touchdown. Julio Jones had 119 yards off of 8 receptions. The leading tackler in this game was Levante David. He had 14 tackles for the Bucs. And over on the Atlanta Falcons side, Paul Warlow had 10 tackles. The Falcons had 4 sacks. Bierman and Umanura each had 1.5 sacks, and Babineau had a sack. The Bucs had 1 sack, and that was for McDonald. The Falcons had 2 interceptions. Lowry and Ishmael both coming up with some big picks, and those were the difference makers, as the Falcons win this game with the final score: Atlanta 27, Tampa Bay 17.